Hey class, it's Mr. Dow. I just wanted to help you a little bit with finding some resources that you can use for the exercise this week, which is kind of preliminary work for our paper number 2 assignment. So I've asked you to look into one of four different social issues that come from hoop dreams and find some material in those issues that might, give you a certain direction or provide you information you can use. So you have two basic places you can look for information. One is you use our library databases, and another is to use the internet at large or go through Google. Let's start with our library. Let's get there. At the library, when you get to the homepage like this, you'll see there are databases right there. That's what you want on any college. You want to know what databases the college subscribes to, and then you want to search those databases. The reason this is a good place to get information, really ultimately better than going through Google, is that I know since we pay money for these databases, any material I find on these many, many databases is going to be legitimate. It is authorized, it is peer reviewed, et cetera, et cetera. The databases are highly specialized. I can find some that are just about health, some that are just about history, et cetera, et cetera. For our purposes, I'm going to use a really general database, which is the very first one right here, Academic Search Complete. This one goes through EBSCOhost, which is a service that kind of mines several databases at once. So it's a good wide variety of approach here. Let's go to this database, get a search box going, and then just at this stage, you just have to kind of experiment, try different phrases and different questions to see what comes up. I'm going to take I think the first of the topics here. I'll talk about the effects of poverty on families, specifically black families. So I'll just type in poverty and black families, which is certainly something that is very much dealt with in Hoop Dreams. Let's search this. And you see I've gotten 57 articles here. There's no guarantee that they're good articles or relevant to what I want to do. But let's look at just the titles and just see if there's some we can eliminate, some we can take. So the movie Precious, a misrepresentation of most black urban mothers. There might be something here about I don't want to focus on Precious. I think I can find something. I need general data and information that is more specific. Black families headed by single mothers, growing numbers, increasing poverty. That is something that is, I don't know if that's what I'm going to focus on, but it certainly is something that is dealt with in Hoop Dreams. I'm going to take a quick look at the what I'm getting here. All right, this is let's see, we have the source. This is an article. Single mothers. It looks like okay. I'm getting a table here. I guess I get some very basic information here about black mothers and single families, trends of income and poverty levels, potentially useful. Yeah, okay. I'm getting a lot of different pieces of information here. Let's look at the source there of that one. That comes from well, it just says academic journal. It's called Social Work, a journal called Social Work. That's definitely going to be so. It's made for social workers. I might be able to get that. Obviously, it's not just about Chicago here, but it is about black families, single mothers, and poverty. I probably could get some decent data here. Deadbeat dads and welfare queens: how metaphor shapes poverty law. This sounds like more like an opinion piece than a list of data and issues. So I'll keep moving. Black family socioeconomic inequality in Canada. Well, because it's about Canada, I don't think it's that relevant. Public housing, the concentration of poverty. This kind of gets me in a little bit different area, but is it relevant to Hoop Dreams? Yeah, that story takes place in public housing. So this comes from Social Science Quarterly, another social welfare journal. So maybe I'll take a quick look at it. Quick look. All right. What have I got here? All right. This is about the 70. Let's see. Let's take it. Wilson theorized a geographic concentration of poverty stemmed from the structural transformation of the urban economy, expansion of opportunity of middle class blacks. All right, this is kind of heavy. It's heavier and more academic than I really want. Notice they are using Chicago in this case study they do, and I guess so specifically about the housing projects there. This one might be a little more intense. So when I start seeing this kind of statistical use of mathematics, I say, okay, I don't need that deep an article. So let's see what else I have here. The impact of economic hardship on black families and children, psychological distress. All right, that's exactly what I want. This comes from something called a journal called Child Development. So if I was going to focus just on the effects of poverty on the children, something like this could probably help me. Race, family, struggle. Anyway, I'm done here. I found a lot of stuff here. I think I can definitely get at least one article out of this, and I am guaranteed that the article will be legitimate because it is coming from a college database. Let's try a different search real quick before I leave here. Let's say I'm not interested in poverty in black families. I'm interested in youth sports and the health of youth sports. Let's try that. Let's see, injuries in youth sports. Is that helpful? Let's see what I get. And again, I can't guarantee you're always going to get something. Here I've got 41 articles. There, okay, a lot of brain injury, football, ice hockey. Well, maybe I need to make this about basketball. I'll put basketball here. That gets me a little closer to hoop dreams. Brain injuries. Well, that was not that helpful. There's a lot, there's different directions I can go with youth sports. I might talk about there's physical injuries. I could research the effects of stress. How about that? The effects of stress on high school athletes. Let's see if I have anything there. Let's see. Coping. A person focuses on investigation of women athletes. That's not going to help me. Stress, urinary incontinence in high school, college age female athletes. Something in Spanish. A lot of female athlete stuff here. Karate athletes. Bioactive. I don't know what that is. Something in Spanish. That's way too complicated for me. No. These are very highly technical, so I don't think that's really helped me very much. I'll let that go for now. Let's see. Should I try it? Well, okay. Basically, I'm just trying to show you there are many different articles here, many different resources available to you. Sometimes you do have to kind of work with this a little bit, and then you have to be a little bit careful about what you're going to actually look at. Part of this process is just sort of accepting that your first things that come up are not necessarily going to be helpful to you. It is kind of a search process. So but overall, I just want to let you know that you're looking through EBSCOhost and everything related to EBSCOhost is definitely one of the things you want to check out when you start searching for articles that can help you with this exercise. Let's take a look at how the same topics. If I try to go through a more general database in the internet like Google. Let's see what we got here. Okay, here's Google. I will do the same thing. Let's see, effects of poverty. No, actually, let's do the sports one. What about this? How about we talk about the chances for a youth athlete to play professionally? So notice there are a lot of directions I can go, and I'm just going to deal with youth sports. I could discuss injuries, and the prevalence of injuries. I could discuss the mental stress of playing youth sports. I could have gotten into the whole idea of money in professional sports, kind of influencing youth athletes. Let's just try this one though. Is it a realistic thing to look into? Now I'm on the World Wide Web, so obviously lots and lots of things come up. I've got 137 million results. Many of these are not acceptable in an academic paper. So part of your job, if you're going to scan through Google, is to think what is acceptable. And if you're not sure that your source is acceptable or not, you are then basically it's your obligation to let me know. Here's my source. Can I use this? Let's take a look at the first one. Probability of competing beyond high school. This is by the NCAA. I would take the NCAA as a legitimate source. I think it's a nationally known organization. What I'm getting here is a kind of a brief article. I see they're going to break it down into different sports. Let's take a look at the men's basketball page. All right, so I'm getting basically I'm getting data here, pretty good data, and not much discussion. This is the kind of source that comes up all the time, and people sometimes jump on this and say, "Oh, I've done it. I've got the source I need. I've got all the info I need." And I say, "Yeah, yes and no." Do I get some good info? Yeah, I've got some statistics that are really helpful here about professional athletes coming out of men's basketball in high school. Is it really a reasonable thing to assume that can be done? Beyond that, I don't have anything else. I have no discussion. I have no expert opinion. I have nothing. I just have these numbers. So what I would say is that finding a source like this may not be as helpful as you think it is. Chances are I can find a better source than this, one that will take these numbers and actually do something with them and talk about reasons why and get into the effects of these different things that affect those numbers. So that's kind of what I would like to get. But it wasn't not terrible, and it is acceptable. Just there really isn't much there. Here's another NCAA. That's okay. Same thing. Odds of playing college sport from high school. Let's see. This is something called scholarshipstats.com. This is sort of stats related. I don't think that's very interesting. Here's an article from USA Today. I would take it. They're basically saying you don't have much chance of becoming a professional athlete. I'm just trying to find something that's where it's going to get a little more developed. How about here? This is from InsideHigherEd.com. That's a journal that goes to teachers. Probably this article will have the same information, be a little more, have a little more discussion to it. So that's it's notice immediately they give me the same information that probably is coming from the NCAA page, and then I'm going to get some discussion here, and I've got some quotes here, so I'm going to get a little more going on in something like this, a little more base. So this is a legitimate source. I would take a source like this. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about the effects of stress on high school athletes, which again is another topic I've seen in Hoop Dreams quite a bit. Okay, I've got USA Today again. Acceptable, but not a great source. Stress and anxiety in athletics, the Sports Digest. That sounds better to me. Sports Digest, they're acceptable if it's something that comes out periodically, has a national reputation, and is authored. So there's an author there. So this looks like a fairly legitimate source here. It's when it goes on what is stress, and then we're talking about the factors of stress disorders. I would love to see some stuff that they have numbers. That's what I'm trying to get into. How often does this happen? So this is decent as a source. I don't know if it's great. I feel like I could find something better. Forbes, I would accept. I would accept this one. I'm getting a lot here. I would accept actually. Essentially, I did this before, especially on the effects of poverty on black families. I found a lot of sources there from .gov and .edu, and I would take those sources generally over the .com ones, unless the .com ones are related to a nationally known magazine or journal. So, all right, there's just a couple of ways you can find the sources. I definitely would recommend you use both Citrus Library Database, which can obviously give you a lot of information that is legitimate, and also use Google, but be careful when you do use Google. One more thing I would say about the Citrus Library databases. I'll just look at this one in general. Another advantage of using the databases is that once you do start looking at the article, well, this one's not coming up, of course. The one I picked isn't coming. You do have a lot of tools here that are given to you to help you with any information you have here. Oh, I have to log in again. Basically, the point I'm trying to get is that you can get the works cited information of your. Oh, my dog is now on the computer here. I'll show you that real quick, just so you can see. Doggy, why are you doing that? Okay. This is a disaster, but I'm not redoing it. This is it. You can get a lot of information about the article, and the full citation by using the database. You can't do that on Google. You're gonna have to create the citation yourself by going through all the steps, et cetera, et cetera. That's another reason to think about using the college database. All right, well, I'll leave it like that. Got a little sloppy there, but I'll leave it like that. I think you got some information there, at least to get you started. Now, and as always, send questions when you have them. All right.